when you're having a moment of stagnation, it might be because you're not fully owning your desire. I want to start off this episode by saying thank you to all 9 of you, because I'm one of them, who rated this podcast 5 stars on Spotify. I see you and I love you. And wherever you're listening, if you have not already rated this podcast 5 stars, please do so. In today's episode, I want to talk about my own personal life experience, what I'm currently moving through, because I'm in a season where I feel like being vulnerable with my audience, which isn't really new. If you're somehow unaware, you're currently listening to Naked and Noisy, Manifestation Tools for the Professional Woman. I'm your host, Natalie Hughes. I'm a life mindset and manifestation coach in my business and on my platform. I help professional women to co-create emotionally fulfilled and purpose-driven lives for themselves. The title of the podcast is Naked and Noisy because it's cheeky, but also because I started it with the intention of being open and honest and vulnerable. And sometimes I don't like to talk about the things that I'm going through in the middle of going through it. I want to wait till I'm on the other side and then share, which is fine and normal and okay and standard. And, you can get success in that way. But recently, I've been wanting to talk more about what I'm currently going through, what I'm currently working through, how I'm working through it, right? So in the last episode, I talked to you guys at the end about some current plans and dreams for my life and this realization that I'm 110% moving back to New York City. Oh my God. Has it been a week since the last episode? Did I post? I don't remember when I posted the last episode. I don't care. We're back on schedule. You're getting this episode on Monday. You might get the episode on Sunday. I don't really know, but you're getting it, okay? Anyway, you're getting it. You're listening to it. Okay, focus. Divas, we must stay focused, stay on topic. Okay, so I'm 110% moving to New York City. This has not really been a goal of mine in 6 years. And I was doing a lot of reflecting recently on myself and my life and where I am. And I'm an ambitious woman. I'm the kind of woman who regularly has some sort of fire lit up underneath her ass. But over the past 6 years, since I left New York City, started this business, nearly quote unquote failed, revived the business, I'm growing and expanding the business, I'm currently scaling the business, right? Over this journey of the past 6 years, my living situation has been a big ass question mark. I have moved to different places. I lived in Atlanta for a couple of months. I lived in Sacramento for a short period of time. I contemplated moving to New Orleans. I contemplated moving to Tennessee. I traveled the United States, up the Pacific Northwest, across down the South. And there were moments of me saying, okay, I could live here. I could see this. I could make this work. I was contemplating living in Oklahoma because I like Oklahoma. I like the South, not necessarily politically, but environmentally. I love the South. Love Oklahoma and their fucking terrifying storms. Love Tennessee and the nature. Oh my God. Love Tennessee so bad. When you're driving on certain freeways in Tennessee, you're driving on the freeway and there's like a rocky mountain next to you on the freeway and there's fucking water. like water springs, like little fucking waterfalls that are cascading out of like the fucking rocky mountainside. And it's just beautiful. I love Tennessee so bad. There was a point in time where I wanted to move to Tennessee. I was going to move to Tennessee. I could have gotten an apartment that was going to help me to move, but I didn't feel confident in my ability to make the rent money every month. That was a great choice. If I had moved to Tennessee and managed to get the rent money, I would have been super stressed. It's fine. I would have figured it out, but I didn't need more stress. I needed safety and security. I needed nervous system regulation. So I'm happy that I didn't do that. But what's the point? The point is that all of those different desires and changes in my living situation, they weren't coming from me on a soul level. They were coming from convenience. They were coming from other people. They were coming from what I should be doing. So we got to take this all the way back to 2019. This is the timeline of events. Beginning of 2019, I come back to New York City from Christmas break. When I got back to college, starting my second semester of my sophomore year of college, things had changed. Okay? It was total, I just saw Wicked for the first time. I didn't really like it. Nothing against the actresses or the production, but I didn't like it. I'm happy that I took a long time to see it because it gave exactly what I thought that it was going to give, which was really nothing, not even performance wise, just like storyline wise. And I don't think that it needed to be two parts, but that's really a 2.5. Anyway, I did have my Wicked moment though of something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. So I totally had my moment when I went back to college at the start of my second semester of my sophomore year. And the college environment felt different to me. It was incredibly toxic. I felt super unsafe, all of this stuff, right? I decide that I want to leave college because by this time, my business is thriving. My business of recording readings on YouTube and doing private readings is thriving. I grew my first YouTube channel incredibly quickly. So within a couple of months, I was at 6,000 subscribers. I went from like 2,000 to 4,000 in like less than a month. And then I was at 6,000 and the numbers were just going to keep going up. And I was making probably like $5,000 a month just from doing personal readings, which is insane because my prices for personal readings were like $25. Making $5,000 a month at $25 increments at a time is fucking insane. And it's a reflection of low self-worth, which we could be talking about, but we're not going to even get into right now. So the point is, my business is thriving, right? I'm getting sales. The girls are loving me on YouTube. I got a community. I'm going live. I'm having a great time. It's fabulous. I'm living in a city that I love. At the time, I had this man that if I went back in time and I was 19 years old, I would say that I loved. And I can look back as a 26-year-old woman and I can recognize that there was a soulmate connection or relationship there. It's really hard for me to say the L word, so I'm just not going to. There was a soulmate connection that I had with a guy way back when in 2019, and I was feeling so good, but I was feeling so bad because he worked at my college and there was just like a whole bunch of like drama and gossip and betrayal. Like, oh my God, it was incredibly fucking traumatizing. It was incredibly toxic. So I have this business that is making more money, that is supporting me, and I have this college environment that is so incredibly toxic. I don't even want to be there. I want to spend my time doing readings readings. I don't want to read the assigned readings that I've been given in class anymore. I don't want to do my assignments. I want to create videos. I want to do personal readings. I want to help women. This is what I want to do. And I don't need a degree to do this work. This is my life's purpose and all that stuff. So I leave college. I leave college on the one hand in this empowered sense of like, I'm starting my business. I'm doing my own thing. Like my business is already making me money. Like I'm just going to continue this. I'm going to grow this. It's going to be great. And on the other hand, I left college from a place of fleeing, from a place of feeling attacked, from a place of feeling unsafe, from a place of not feeling taken care of, not feeling seen, feeling unwanted, right? And just really being attacked directly and indirectly. It was like things had completely changed and shifted. My freshman year of college was like one of the best years of my life. And it was just like, I felt like everybody loves me. And like, yeah, there was like drama and like little shit that was happening. But for the most part, I'm like, oh, everybody's loving me. I start my second semester. I have like 3 fucking jobs on campus. I'm working in the office of administration at my college. And even though I'm a sophomore and I only worked for the previous semester, I only worked 1 full semester. I had the most hours out of all of the student workers. I didn't know that I had the most hours out of all of the student workers, but there's somebody else who made that comment in a very passive aggressive way to me. And that's how I learned. But I was amazing and I was worthy. So I was really thriving and I was really having this great time. And then this guy gets hired at my college my sophomore year, and I work under him from one of my many jobs on campus. And then the energy and the environment just like switched. It was like 1 second, everybody loves this girl, Natalie. She's so great. She's so amazing. You're going to do such amazing things in the world. You're so awesome. Like, we love this diva, this icon. And then in the next second, it was just like, I was just the girl that it was okay to hate, the girl that it was acceptable to hate. It was like, you know, they hate it when you're pretty and gorgeous and smart and beautiful and successful. They hate it when you're fashionable and beautiful and everybody wants you. They hate it when your waist is invisible, you know, like the girls couldn't take it. They couldn't take it. So they formed a mob. You know what I mean? And if you know, you know. If you're that girl, then unfortunately you probably understand what I'm saying. So I left college, and I left college with this feeling of fleeing. I just need to get out of this toxic environment. I left college, but I loved New York City, and I always planned to go back. My plan in my mind was, I'm going to leave college, I'm going to go back home, I'm going to like stabilize myself, and then I'm going to come right back to New York City, and I'm just going to live my life, and I'm going to create, and I'm just going to like do all of my like things and like all this stuff, right? And way back then at the time, I was just like, oh my God, like I'm growing and expanding. I could be like a YouTuber, like a YouTuber influencer, and I could have like a really great like house and like apartment and all this stuff, right? So I had beautiful ideas when I left college. And then I came back to California. And how can I explain? There's beauty in moving to a new place where nobody knows you and there's no previous expectations, because you kind of get to be a new person. You get to decide who you are and how the world knows you, and you're not burdened by what has been, right? So yes, moving and changing locations can open you up to becoming a new person, to learning things about yourself. And that is so much of what happened when I was in New York. I became more confident. I was becoming this woman who was willing to take risks. which I guess me moving across the country to a city I had never gone to, a city I had never visited before, for college, that was a risk in and of itself. But before then, I don't know, I could look back in time and see that I have always been someone who's willing to take a risk and put herself out there. But it just was amplified, okay? So I have like this newfound power, this like newfound freedom and like all this stuff, and it's so great. Moving and putting yourself in a new environment can help you and serve you in that way. You're new here, you get to decide who you are, blah, blah, blah. I've already said that a million times. But what's always going to happen is that you're going to take your mindset with you. You're going to take your beliefs about who you are with you. You're going to take your expectations about how you get to be treated in the world with you. That is just a fact. And even though I went to New York and had so many beautiful experiences, my beliefs about jealousy, my beliefs about people not being on my side, my beliefs about being attacked, my beliefs about being victimized, my beliefs about experiencing racism, my beliefs about being undermined, those went with me. I didn't understand at the time that all of the shit that was blowing up in my life was not just because of some guy, even though it was connected to that guy. It was a consequence and a reflection of the stories that I had always been telling. The problems and issues that I had when I was in high school that didn't magically stop, that didn't magically end because I graduated and flew across the country. And so the issues that I had with jealousy around administrators and people in positions of authority, that transitioned to college. You don't go to a new job. You don't go to a new environment, move to a new city, get a different boyfriend, date someone different, and suddenly become free of what has been. Because everything that you have experienced has been something that you have attracted. And it's not about blame, and these things are incredibly nuanced. We are attracting things all of the time, not just from the shit that happened when we were kids, but things that happened to us on an ancestral level. I was just listening to the Sorry Not Settling bonus program, which is the pre-work for the Receiver's Mindset course. And God damn it, I love that video. It's one of the greatest things that I've ever done. And in that video, I was talking about a shift that was taking place for me last year in November, ancestrally. And in the video, I'm talking about how I have a grandmother, a great grandmother. My birthday is March 12th, 1999. My great grandmother, my mother's mother's mother, was born March 13th of 1898. Nearly 100 fucking years to the date that I was fucking born. First of all, crazy. Second of all, mind blown. Third of all, let's continue and let me get to my point. This woman, my great grandmother, she was in a relationship with a man who I believe was 11 years older than her, question mark. It was over a decade for sure. She was married to a man who was 11 years older than her. And the way that they got together is that she worked for him as a maid. And he was married, I believe. I'm 98% sure that one. So there's a whole fucking inappropriate affair, a terrible age gap, and it was an unhealthy, abusive relationship. And let's just put it there. So here I am, 100 years later, and I'll be damned if I'm not walking out an incredibly similar story. I mean, not today, but back when I was 19 years old. and I met this guy, and I worked for this guy, and he was basically 10 years older than me, like 9 years older than me. And it would have been terrible and it would have been horrible. And I would just like to take this moment to just like thank God. I just want to thank like Jesus and like just the angels and like the ancestors and like everything good in the world, because that was never meant to be my life. Like I was never, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. How I feel can best be expressed by a Beyonce song. That Beyonce song is called Best Thing I Never Had. Thank you, Lord. Thank you. Like, I'm so incredibly grateful. We don't have time for me to talk about that anymore. Keep going with today's podcast episode. So, okay. In the video, I was talking about that experience, right? How it's so weird, but it's not weird, it's synchronistic. And it's not just synchronistic, it's alignment. It's a reflection of vibration. We inherit thoughts, we inherit beliefs, we inherit experiences. They live inside of us in our DNA, and they span across fucking generations. Okay? And I forgot why I told that story. Wait, hold on. I have to memorize it. I don't want to edit this episode. Hold on. I'm finding it. Ancestral, we attract. Oh, yes, perfect. Every experience that's coming and happening in your life is a reflection of your vibration. You are attracting it. And so a lot of people incorrectly, from that hyper masculine way of being, they say, there's a problem in my physical reality. I'm going to take action and I'm going to change the problem, which is like, fine. But they're not handling it at the root. I'm going to give an example. And this is an example of a previous client who is a friend. And the example is coming through. I don't think she'll be mad that I'm giving it. So this friend has had problems with authority figures not supporting her, undermining her, and not respecting her. She got a job, and one of her bosses at the job had started getting in that energy of being nitpicky and micromanaging and undermining and all of that shit. And so one of the things that she did in response to that was she put her boss in the freezer, which we're not going to get into magic or hoodoo or anything like that. But long story short, if you put someone in the freezer, you're freezing them out of your life. You want them to leave you alone. You want them to be cast out of your world, basically. The problem with putting that boss in the freezer was that did nothing for her vibration. That handled something that was popping up in the physical reality, but that did nothing for the root cause. So what's going to happen if she doesn't change that, if she doesn't tell a new story, if she doesn't heal her shit with authority at the root? What's going to happen when she goes to her next job? There's going to be a micromanaging ass boss. It doesn't matter if she goes to a different job. It doesn't matter if she goes to a different industry. And I can share this story because I know about the job that she had. I don't know if it was the job right before this job, but I know about a job that she had previously. And it was the same shit, different project. Same shit, different job title. Same shit, different position. Micromanaging boss that undermines you and makes you feel unsupported and disrespected. Changing the environments is not going to change your result. I didn't understand that when I went to college. Of course, I didn't understand that. I've only been doing this mindset and energetic work for the past 6 years, and that started when I was getting ready to leave college. So it's been About 7, 8 years of me doing this personal development work. We don't have time to get into the timeline. Let's move forward. So I'm in New York, and all of my shit from childhood, authority figures, blah, 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 starts coming up. It manifests in a whole bunch of fuckery at my college. What do? I leave my college. I flee. I don't have the tools to deal with that shit. I don't have the self-worth to deal with that shit. Plus, I don't want this degree anymore. I want to help people. I want to serve. I want to create videos. I want to channel spirit guides, angels, and ancestors. Like, this is what I want to do. This is my path. Okay, fabulous. So I leave college, I come back to California. When I leave college and I come back to California, I no longer have the environmental support of New York City. So like I talked about a couple moments ago, when you go to a new place and you can be a new person, even though my old stories were kind of catching up to me and manifesting in the physical while I was in New York, I still had that. I'm the version of Natalie who lives in New York City, and I'm supported by God, and things work out for me, and I'm supported, and I'm inspired, and I'm all of this stuff, right? So when I came back to California, even though I moved into a different home, I wasn't in the same home that I went to high school in. I was in the same city that I went to high school in. I was living with the same mother that raised me. And so I no longer had the environmental, energetic support of being in a new place where I could be a new woman. I was put right back to where I had originally fled. The reason why I went to college in New York City, even though, yes, I was excited about New York, and even though, yes, I loved the city and I loved the aesthetic and everything, the reason why I went to New York City was because it was as far away from California as I could possibly fucking get. So I was right back from where I had originally fled. First, I fled California. I went to New York. Then I fled New York and came back to California. And so that was incredibly triggering because now I'm back in an environment where the predominant story that I've been telling in this environment is I'm not loved, I'm not supported, I'm not capable, I'm a failure. Oh my God. So I leave New York, come back to California, and am being triggered because of the environment that I'm in. I'm also being triggered because I just had a terribly traumatic experience away at college. I'm also being triggered because I'm 19 years old, getting ready to turn 20. My return ticket from New York to California was like March 1st of 2019, which is like 11, 12 days before my birthday. So I'm 19 years old, just turning 20 years old. I'm starting a business. I've never taken adult responsibility for myself in my life. I've never had my own apartment. I lived in New York, but I lived in the dorms, and I was really nervous about getting my own apartment. And like, what if I couldn't get it? Which is one of those irrational fears that could have been handled with logic, but I didn't have that at the time. I was just triggered, just feeling unsafe, just full of self-doubt and a lack of self-trust, like full of insecurity. So I'm 20 years old and I'm just feeling terrified. Business is good, but what if business isn't always good? I started getting tired, started being exhausted. I remember it was hard for me to get people their readings. I started falling behind on stuff. Like, shit was just hard and difficult, and my nervous system was triggered. So, take me back to the very beginning of this podcast episode. Oh, yeah, stagnancy. I wanted to go back to New York, but I didn't believe that I could because I didn't have self-confidence and I had very low self-worth. I didn't know that at the time, but I had really low self-worth. What is self-worth? Self-worth is I'm, we have, when, let me start that sentence over. When we have self-worth, we know that we are important, significant people who matter and belong. I had low self-worth. So I saw myself as unimportant. I saw myself as insignificant. I saw myself as someone who didn't matter and someone who didn't belong, right? So, okay, I'm here in California and I just want to go back home to New York. And I feel all of this, all of these fears, all of these doubts, just so fucking terrified. There's money coming in now. There's sales coming in now. What if it doesn't happen? Everything started being amplified. Every potential threat started being amplified because at the time, I don't know how to regulate my nervous system. At the time, I didn't know how to identify my emotions, y'all. Like, I was just fucked up, traumatized, raw dogging life. No tools, no help, no support. I couldn't even identify that what I was feeling was fear. I remember I had a kind of coach mentor at the time, and she was tapping into my energy and she was like, "You're scared shitless, and that's okay." And I was watching her. She was like live on YouTube, and I was watching her, and I was just like, "I'm not scared shitless." Like, I don't know. Maybe you've lost your touch, Diva, because that doesn't resonate. But I was wrong. I was terrified. I just couldn't identify it. I was freaking out. I was showing all of the practical signs of being terrified, nervous system being activated. But I thought I was doing just fine. I don't know. I don't even understand how I didn't know that I was terrified. But that's okay. I'm not going to judge myself. I had to go on a journey and develop the skill of identifying my emotions, which a lot of us need to do. So, no big deal. Let's move on. So, I'm feeling like shit. We're moving through 2019 now. And yes, I'm still getting sales in my business. Yes, the videos, the YouTube channel is still growing and stuff like that. But every single time I post, now I'm hyper aware of the amount of views, right? Back in New York, it was like I post a video. Oh my God, my video has 42,000 views. Like, that's so cool. I moved to California. I post a video. The video has 11,000 views. Okay. How do I get the video to get to 42,000 views? Or I post a video, the video only has 1,000 views. Oh my God, only 1,000 views. People don't want to hear this from me. People don't want to watch these videos. People don't want this. I have to keep doing more of what people want. It doesn't matter what kind of videos I want to create. I have to create what other people want. That's low self-worth. I'm an insignificant, unimportant person who does not matter and who does not belong. It doesn't matter what kind of videos I want to create. It doesn't matter what kind of content I want to create. I need to do what they want from me. That's low self-worth. So I'm freaking the fuck out. I'm terrified. And I'm like, everything is going wrong. Even though I'm receiving money, I'm spending all of my money. I'm not saving my money. My baby's having a terrible time. And all I need in that moment is support. I need someone, I need an adult. Okay. I need a person who's like older than me and like more sturdy than me and more stable than me. And I need them to tell me that I'm okay, that I'm going to be okay, that I've got this, that I can do this, that I can trust myself, that New York is there waiting for me, ready, willing, and eager to receive me with open arms, that the world is on my side, that I can do this, that people want what I have to offer, that I can trust myself, that I was made on purpose. These are all the things that I tell you inside of my courses and programs. By the way, I had to become what I did not have because I had the opposite. I had the opposite. Fuck. And that's the problem that I've had over the past 6 years. And let me explain. The opposite was, I remember getting a reading from this woman who, we'll just call her a friend and move on. I got a reading from this woman who was my friend. And she's significantly older than me. Like, I'm 20, she's like 40 something, right? So I'm like getting this like personal reading with her, and I'm like, okay, so I really want to move back to New York. Like, tell me what spirit says. Like, do I or do I not get to move back to New York, right? And so we're on this video call, and she's like tapping into the energy of like spirit and like, what does spirit have to say? And she tells me that spirit says no to New York. New York to visit, but not to live. If I'm looking back on this memory like I'm watching a horror film, I want to scream, close the laptop, exit out of the fucking Zoom. Don't go in there. But I can't interfere. It's a canon event, you know? So she tells me, Spirit, God, creator of the universe, says, no, you shouldn't move to New York City. It would be terrible. It would be terrible for you. What you should do instead is you should move to Tennessee. So this woman had recently moved to Tennessee. And she said that Spirit told her, oh my God, playing a game of fucking telephone. She said that Spirit told her that Tennessee is the place that I'm meant to be. And so for a long time, I tried to force myself to move to Tennessee. There are nice apartments there. I think that Tennessee is beautiful. I've traveled to Tennessee millions of times. Will I one day very likely have some sort of farm home, extra home in Tennessee one day? Yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100%. Love it. Is that where I needed to be? Is that where I needed to move? No. Was that lady kind of culty and controlling? Yes. But what's the point? The point is that I let go of my desire. I ignored my desire. Somebody outside of me who I viewed as an authority, that's problem number one. Perceiving the authority to be outside of me. This person outside of me who I'm perceiving as an authority has told me that the ultimate authority, God, capital G-O-D, has said no. You can't have your dream. You can't have your desire. Which is fucking ridiculous to me today. You came to me today and you told me that God told you, no, I can't get my dreams. I'd say, you must not be talking to the same God as me. I don't know who you're talking to. I don't know. I don't know what you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on to. But it's not God. 110% no. But anyway, focus and move forward. So I put off my desire then. I had another moment where I'm like, what should I do? Where should I go? Should I go to New Orleans? I thought I was going to go to New Orleans. I found this whole house in New Orleans that I really could not afford, but that I wanted so bad. And then I had another friend, another friend who was a reader that I got a reading from, and was like, yes, you can go to New Orleans. Your ancestors are saying that you're so supported in moving to New Orleans. And if you just go there, it will work out for you. That is not what happened. I went to New Orleans and I actually got cursed. But I love the city and I'd love to go back. We don't have time to get into that ridiculous fucking story. But the long and the short of it is that I explored a million different ideas. Well, what if I want to live here? Well, what if I want to live here? Well, what about this? Well, maybe I want to live in Miami where it's like warm and like sunny. No, you never needed to move to Florida. Why would you ever think about moving to Florida? You do not give Floridian. No offense if you're watching this and you're living in Florida and you love Florida, nothing against that. I just, as Natalie Annalise Hughes, I was never giving Floridian, and that's just the truth. Let's move on. So I contemplated all of these different things and nothing ever felt right. There were times when I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going to move. This is what's going to happen. But it always fell through. And at the beginning of this episode, I told you that I'm a woman who's passionate, right? I'm a woman who's ambitious. I'm a woman who 9 times out of 10, there's a fire lit up under my ass for something. I want something, I'm moving towards something, I'm creating something, I've got a goal, I've got a desire, let's fucking do it, let's make it happen. But I have not felt that around my desires to move, my desires to live in my own place. I hadn't felt that fire under my ass, let's do it, let's make it happen right now, let's go. And so there's been stagnancy there. Now, over the past 6 years, I've been focusing on a lot of other things, right? I've been growing the business. I've been creating stability. I've been working on my relationship with money. I've been learning how to allow myself to receive, right? I took myself from my worst fears manifesting, which was no sales coming in, no income coming in, my bank accounts being closed because they were always being taken into the negative from like the monthly banking fees and overdraft fees, and I never had any fucking money. I didn't have bank accounts. I think I could have gone like a year with no bank accounts. I'm not 110% sure on that fact, but I went a very long time with no bank accounts because I had no cash flow. I was not receiving anything, okay? I didn't have 2 fucking pennies to rub together. And now, several years later, I'm having an experience where the business pays the bills, period. I've been super tired with different things going on with my iron and my body and the full moons and my own growth and expansion. And for the past couple of weeks, I really have been doing a lot of resting and a lot of chilling, but sales are still coming in. Income is still coming in. Programs are still getting sales. New students are still coming in. And, different sales like extended readings and all of that good stuff are coming in. The bills are getting paid. Hallelujah. So over the past 6 years, I've been focusing on really important shit that you need to be a financially independent adult. So, that's good. That was just kind of like a 2.5, something that we should also acknowledge. I haven't been feeling like, oh my God, I'm so stagnant. I'm not seeing any forward improvement. That is far from the truth. My life has completely changed. I have become a completely different, more confident and self-trusting and secure woman, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. Like, I'm on fire, and I love that for me. But when it's come to moving and having my own apartment and having my own place, there's always been that resistance, and there's always been that lack. And there's been moments of like, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to move here. Okay, I'm going to do this. And there was no follow through, or I didn't feel supported in it enough, or I set goals, but they were goals that I didn't even really fucking want. Like 2.5, because we're talking about stagnancy and we're talking about not getting your desires. Sometimes you're not getting what you want because it's not what you actually fucking want. Like, I was just talking with my copywriter about this. She was asking me about like what my goals are for something that we're working on. And I was like, honestly, I don't have goals in the same way that everybody else has goals. In the entrepreneurial space, in the coaching space, there's a big focus on like how much money you make every single month. $10,000 months, $50,000 months, $100,000 months, $1,000,000 months. There's this huge focus on how much you make every single year and every single month and all of that stuff. None of my goals are related to how much money I want to make every single month. That shit does not move me. How many times was I trying to tap into and say affirmations from the place of, I make $10,000 in my business every single month? That means nothing to me. That shifts no energy within me because I don't give a fuck about $10,000 coming into my business every single month. Even though yes, $10,000 in my business every single month is fabulous and wonderful and expected. And, I'm available for it. But what I mean is that the idea of having $10,000 come in every single month, it doesn't move me, it doesn't shift me, it doesn't excite me, it doesn't do anything for me. So I was setting goals for a long time in my business around what other people said I should want, what other people said I should have, what other people said my life should look like, and what I needed to have and what I needed to be in order to be successful. But that didn't work for me. So I didn't reach those goals in those ways and whatever. For me, when it comes to creating goals and creating financial goals, the way that I set goals is around my desires. The way that I set goals is around what I want, instead of my goals looking like I want to make 10,000 in my business every single month. My goals look like this is how much I want to make in a month so that my personal and business expenses are paid. And this is how much I want to make so that I can put this into savings. And this is how much I want to make so I can put this towards technology. And this is how much I want to make so I can put this towards my dream wardrobe. And this is how much I want to make so I can put this towards Beyonce tickets. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what works for me. So a lot of the reasons why I wasn't reaching financial goals in the past was because my financial goals were not rooted in what I actually wanted, what I actually desired. There was nothing in me that was like, yeah, I gotta have these $10,000 fucking months. There's no part of me that wants that. But now, when it comes to my financial goals, of course, I want to have a nest egg that's fully funded. Of course, I want to have an emergency fund that makes me feel safe and secure. Of course, I want to have several months' rent. Like, those things feel real to me. Those things move me. And so when I'm tapping into the energy of having my financial goals and my financial desires, it doesn't look like there's $1 million in my bank account and I feel so abundant, because that doesn't make me feel good. In fact, it makes me feel freaked out. I don't like the idea of just having money and money just sitting there and money having no purpose. I don't look at money and see just money. I don't look at my bank account and see just the money that is in my accounts. I look at my bank account and I see this much money that I have for this bill, and this much money that's going towards taxes, and this much money that's going towards a down payment on a home, and this much money that's going towards shoes, and this much money that's going towards blah, 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 blah. That's just who I am. That's just how my brain works. So when I'm thinking about my future and I'm thinking about my desires and I'm thinking about my goals, what feels real and good to me, what shifts energy within me, is like I'm living in this great, amazing apartment and my emergency fund is fully stocked. I'm living in this amazing apartment and my travel fund is fully funded. And I'm living in this amazing apartment and I have money for groceries for the next fucking year. That makes me feel abundant. That makes me feel overflow. That makes me feel safe. That makes me feel secure. That moves energy. That's a goal that I can get behind. That's something, that desire can light a fire underneath my ass. That's something that I will make come true. That's something that I will receive. All of my goals that I have set, the goals around my courses, right? Like the Receiver's Mindset course. That course cost $7 when it first came out. That course currently costs $2,000. Successfully raising my fucking prices in crazy ways. Of course, I have added to the program and blah, blah, blah. The value is there, duh. But successfully increasing my prices, that has only happened because I really wanted that. I really wanted that. I really wanted to make more money for my work. I really wanted to be receiving thousands of dollars for my fucking work. Because once you're receiving the thousands for your work and that's normalized, then your next step is just increasing it. And that's just been my business model. That's just been my focus. I spent the past several years tapping into and practicing, growing and expanding how much money I'm willing to receive for my work, for my courses. now that I'm in a place where I'm willing to receive thousands of dollars for my ideas, my intellectual property, my creativity, my teachings, it is so worth it. My work is so fucking good and transformative and amazing. Now that I'm at this place, my next step looks like growing and expanding and multiplying it all. So not just getting one $2,000 sale, but getting five $2,000 sales. Not just getting five $2,000 sales, but getting 10. Not just 10, but getting 50. Not just 50, but getting 100. Not just 100, but getting 500. And now we're at 1,000,000. How much fun was that? I love numbers. I feel like Jay-Z. God, I can't think of the exact fucking rap in my mind. But if I could pull out that lyric right now, that would be so good. Anyway, just know there's a Jay-Z lyric that he says 1,000,000, 2,000,000, 20,000,000. Oh, I'm so good at math. Oh, he says something like that. It's on his album 444. It's so good. Wait, no, it might not be. I don't know. Look up Jay-Z good at math. And you'll find it. But focus, 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 focus. We're approaching the point, really. We have done beautifully this episode. The flow has been fabulous. So, okay. We're going to skip all of the years of me doubting, all of the years of stagnation, all of the years of, I think I'm going to move to this place, but it falls through. I really want to move to this place, but I can't afford it, right? The money doesn't show up. I don't get what I want. And let's just fast forward to now, past couple of weeks, recently. I started thinking to myself, what if I moved back to New York? And where that idea came to me, I have no idea. Because I have been planning to move back home to Southern California. Home is where I was born. Home is where I was basically raised, where I spent a majority of my childhood. That has been the plan. I'm going back to Southern California. Until recently, the inspiration to move to New York City came back to me. And I'm thinking of what I want to say, and I'm thinking of what I want to share, and I'm thinking of how vulnerable and open I want to be, because I just said, I don't remember how I even thought the thought, and I'm remembering how I thought the thought, so I should just tell you. Okay. I have a knowing, an intuition, a nudge, a calling. Yeah, sure, whatever. We can call it a calling. I'll allow it. That my soulmate is in New York City. Just an idea. And a thought that's been coming up in my mind, because I was being really practical financially. I've been financially planning and just like planning out my goals and shit. And so I was thinking about this soulmate connection and this man who lives in New York City. And I was thinking about what that might look like if we were dating. And at some point, for some period of time, when I thought about him, I just thought about, oh yeah, I'll go there to visit, and he can come here to visit, and I'll live in Southern California, and, beautiful, beautiful thoughts and ideas. And I was like, okay with that. And then I was thinking, and I was like, do I want to pay for a flight so frequently to go to New York to see this guy? to be dating this guy. That's not a huge problem for me, but also, I don't think I want long distance, which is really interesting because we don't have all of the time in the world, so I just have to speed through this. For a long part For a long time in my life, I was okay with long distance relationships and connections because I was very emotionally unavailable, even though I didn't know it. When I was in college, I said I would have to keep this quick, which means, of course, I'm going to tell you a story. When I was in college, I liked this boy, and I was a freshman. Well, no, this was like the summer before my sophomore year. And I liked this boy, and he lived in like Long Island, and I was in New Jersey because I was there with my cousin. I had just driven across the country with her before I went back to college in the city, whatever. So I'm in New Jersey, he's in Long Island, and we started talking again. So we're like FaceTiming every day. And I'm like, yes, like in my mind, things are going to be so good when we go back to school. I'm going to have, my job and my work. And also, he's going to have his job and like his studies. So, like, we'll only be able to hang out like once a week or once every couple of weeks. And it'll be so good because, like, we'll just have like our time, but we'll also like have our own lives and like all of this shit, right? Whole time, if I look back in time, I would tell myself, baby, you don't want to see that man. You don't like that man. You don't like that boy. But I can't interfere. It's a canon event. That was actually the first boy that I ever said, I love you too. It was a very significant relationship for me. But we don't talk about it often because that was the guy who I was in love with right before the incident. So the incident kind of gets a lot of airtime because it was incredibly traumatizing, but also transformative for me, right? So anyway, so there's this guy, and in my mind, I just loved the distance. I loved a relationship dynamic where we just like texted and we only saw each other not very often, which I know, depending on who you are, seeing someone once a week could feel like often. I don't even know if it was like me seeing him once a week. It could have been like once a month. I don't know. The point was, I was not planning on seeing him frequently or like even, well, I mean, I guess those were dates in my mind. Let's not nitpick. Let's not go deep into the crevices of the way that my 19-year-old brain worked and what I thought dating was. But the point is that I was always like open to long distance relationships, like with the guy from the incident. When I left college, I actually still thought that we would be together eventually one day. I thought that things would come back together or whatever. So, in my mind, with things coming together, I thought that they would be long distance things. And I was okay with the long distance. Now, today, I realize that I'm not okay with long distance. I have a desire inside of me that I'm just becoming more and more aware of. And it's the desire to be close, not codependently close, living in each other's skin, even though I wouldn't be opposed to it for small bursts of time. Just the desire to be close, so the desire to be in one another's lives in a day to day way. That desire has been growing within me. And so I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about what I wanted, and I was thinking about what I wanted to do. And then that's when the idea just kind of got dropped into my brain of like, well, what if I also lived in New York City? And this is an important part of the conversation to have because people can inspire us. At no point am I saying, I'm going to move to New York City and then this guy is going to find me and then we're going to fall in love and we're going to be together and we have to do this thing. I don't feel that way at all. He could literally be a beautiful, wonderful, fabulous catalyst that inspired me to look back on this desire that I have always had for so long. There's no commitment to what that has to look like or how that has to unfold. Do I believe that I will have a New York love story, whether it's this guy or somebody else? I really do. Because in my heart of hearts, I want, need, desire, and fucking deserve a New York love story. I really do. I really, really do. We can't live the rest of our lives together as a community. And the only time I'm telling you about a New York love story is when I'm telling you about a time that I was deeply fucking traumatized. Like, it was never going to say that. It was never going to continue to fucking be that. It was never going to continue to be that, you know? So I anticipate a fabulous New York love story in my future. It's an expectation that I have. It's something that I'm manifesting and it's something that I'm calling in, but also with there being an openness there. So there's my vulnerability, vulnerable time over. Now let's refocus to our conversation on stagnancy and desire. So I realize, what if I want to move back to New York City? So I start playing with the idea in my head, but it still feels off. It feels off in the same way that my desires for moving have felt off over the past 6 years, where, things sound like a cool idea. Like, they sound good. Like, I could see myself being there. I could see myself living in New York City, like, that could be cool. That could be nice. Like, I'm open. You know what I mean? But that's not who I am. I don't really do nonchalant things. In astrology, I have a Scorpio rising and I have Mars and Scorpio in my first house. I am intense. My personality is intense. And I have an Aries stellium, which means I have 3 planets in Aries. I have a lot of fiery energy. I have a lot of Mars energy. I am someone who is deeply connected to desire. In human design, I'm a manifesting generator. Like, everything about me and my energy is desire, desire, desire. So although some people can live their lives based on, well, like, this is a nice idea. I could see myself living here. I could see myself doing this. Like, that would be fun. I can't live like that. I need to be obsessed with it. I need to be in love with it. I need to feel like I'm going to die if I don't get it. And if I don't feel like I'm going to die if I don't get it, then that's not a goal that I'm going to go after. It's not a goal that I'm going to reach because I feel indifferent. And this is just true for me in general. I think it's kind of true for all human beings in a way, where when you're going towards your goals, you're going to have hiccups. You're going to have moments where you're triggered. You're going to have moments where old unsupportive beliefs come up. The thought that, what if I can't do it? The thought that, what if it's not happening? The thought that I'm not seeing the results I want, so it must not be possible for me. Nothing is working. I'm doing all this energy and I'm not getting what I want, right? You're going to have moments of resistance whenever you set a new goal, whenever you decide to leave your comfort zone. You're going to have a moment of resistance, right? So your desire has to be stronger than your resistance. Your desire has to be stronger than your fear. If your desire isn't stronger than your fear, you're going to give up. Oh, I want to have a family, but I'm afraid of traumatizing my kids, so I don't think I'm going to have kids. Right. You give up on your desire to have a family because your fear, your limiting belief is stronger than your desire. A woman like me, I desire to have a family. I desire to be a mother. I love children more than I love anything else on this planet. I love children. The other day, we don't have a lot of time, but fuck it. The episodes later in the month might just be a little bit smaller, might just be shorter. Okay, girl? Because I have things to say. It's been a minute since we've talked, and I just feel like we all have time. So what the fuck is the rush? So anyway, the other day, I was at IHOP with my homegirl, and we went and we slid into this booth, and there is this little baby. There is this little baby boy in his freaking what is that thing, like the carrier, like this, the, why was I gonna call it a suitcase, the car seat. It's this little boy, and he's in his car seat, and he has on a helmet. So something developmentally perhaps going on with him there. Not sure, but he does have on a helmet, which I believe helps babies' heads to take proper shape. That I'm not sure about. Question mark there. Anyway, so adorable little baby. He has on this helmet, and we slide into the booth. Well, I slide into the booth, my friend slides across from me. And so I'm right like at a diagonal. So the baby looks at me, we make eye contact. And of course, I like say hi to him because I'm not a monster. And oh my God, this baby's face lit up. He smiled at me. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. This is the best day of my life. And so the whole time, well, the whole time that he was there, I'm having like a million different little moments where we're making eye contact and I'm smiling at him. And then my friend is like turning around, and he like, when my friend would turn around, he wasn't still smiling. And I was like, no, I promise. I swear to God. I swear to God, he's smiling at me. We have a connection. And so we're just like having this great moment with this baby, and I'm like saying hi to him, and I'm like waving at him, and he's not like completely waving at me, but he's like putting his like hands up. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a mirroring energy going on. Like we're on the same vibe. He didn't wave his hand at me, but I could feel that the intention was there. He waved his hand at me in his spirit, and I felt it. Anyway, so that was just my latest adorable baby story. I love children, and I love babies, and I believe with all of my heart and all of my soul that of my many purposes in this world, being a mother is one of them. So even though I come from a childhood of neglect, even though I come from generations of abuse, there is no fear in me. I used to be terrified that I would do to a child what happened to me. Terrified that I would become neglectful, mean, jealous, and all of these other things. Impossible. It's not in my nature. But my desire to be a mother is stronger than my fears around what negative things can happen in my family unit. And because I love babies in the way that I love babies, and because I love children in the way that I love children, and because I love children's development and nurturing and caretaking, and because I want to be a mother and I want to have a family more than I want a lot of things, I'm willing to handle my shit when it comes up. I'm willing to handle my triggers. I'm willing to handle my fears. I'm willing to heal. I'm willing to be a better person. So many of the choices and decisions that I make in my life around my body and my physical health, eating better and treating myself better, developing a better mindset, refusing to settle in my fucking career, refusing to settle in my relationships. A lot of the choices and changes that I make in my own life are rooted in the fact that I have to be a better mother, that I have to be a safe mother, that I have to raise fully functioning adult children. And I can't do that if I neglect myself. I'm not going to neglect myself and be a mother who takes care of her kids. That's not how it works. I'm not going to be a woman who neglects herself and raise children who take care of themselves. They're going to treat themselves the way I treat myself. So I handle my shit. I fight for myself because there's a fire lit under my ass from motherhood. Fabulous. So when it comes to moving, when it comes to doing something that I've never done before, I have to want it. I'm hearing that song about the Spice Girls in my head. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I have to want it. I have to really, really, really want it so bad that I'm going to die if I don't get it. I think I would die if I made it to my entire end of my life. I don't have any kids. Impossible. Fucking possible. And I'm not saying that I would do this. I'm not saying that I would do this. Getting a little bit of sperm is not that hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, worst comes to worst. I find it very unlikely that I would not have kids. Can we just refocus? Let's just refocus our thoughts together as a community. When it comes to where I live, I don't want to just think to myself, oh yeah, that would be nice. So first the idea of moving to New York comes into my mind and I go, oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be cool. And then I started kind of getting some feelings of resistance. Like, I don't even know where I would live. I don't even know what neighborhood. I don't even know what I want. I don't even know what borough. I don't even know. And so I just kind of was like, okay. And just open. And so I started getting clearer on my desire. It wasn't like, oh, I want to live in this neighborhood. It actually was like, this is the kind of experience I want. I want to have a great view, but my beliefs about what a great view are not the same as everybody else's. I want to have a great view. I want to have a beautiful skyline. And I want to walk around my neighborhood like this. I want a place where I can go and do this and this and this. I want a little bit of this. I want to be near here. I kind of like this area. I kind of like this thing. And then a name and an idea of, okay, let's do this. Like, this is not what actually is going on in my mind. Even though I'm willing to be open and honest with you guys and be vulnerable, I'm not going to disclose every single part of my plan because it just doesn't feel good to me. I'm not going to do that. So let's just say that I wanted to move to Bushwick. That's not my dream. So let's just say in my mind, I'm starting to think to myself, okay, well, when I get the Bushwick apartment, then I could do this and I would be near here and that would be fabulous. And then blah, 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 right? So then I start actually looking at apartments in Bushwick and I'm like, oh my God, this is actually amazing. This is actually perfect. And I love the natural lighting here. And I really like the location here. And I feel really safe in this neighborhood. And this is really nice. And this is really good. And the prices of these apartments are very similar to the homes that I was looking at wanting to rent in Southern California. So the prices don't feel like, oh my God, I can't believe this. They're actually feeling kind of like normal in terms of my expectations and desires and financial goals and all of this stuff. And so I start seeing these apartments and I'm kind of falling in love with these apartments. And I'm like, hold on, these apartments are amazing. And then I start feeling that energy. I start feeling that desire. Because before, when it was just, I mean, I could move back to New York. Like, that would be a cool idea. That would be maybe nice. I don't know what I would really do there. I don't know. I kind of feel iffy. I don't really know. I was looking at places and neighborhoods and experiences that didn't actually light me up. What am I saying? Okay, quickest and easiest way to say this. I was looking and being and focusing too cheap. The neighborhoods that I was looking in, even the more expensive neighborhoods, it wasn't the right neighborhood for those, but I was kind of looking at cheap places. I was just feeling unsatisfied. I was just feeling unhappy. And then I realized when I started looking at the Bushwick apartments, that's not where I've been looking. When I started looking at the Bushwick apartments, that I was like, oh, I actually need to be looking at apartments in this range and in this neighborhood. And all of these apartments are a yes and a yes and a yes and a yes. I could live there and I could live there and I could live there and I could live there. And it's like the fucking sweet spot. And then I'm doing journal prompts and I'm scripting and I'm tapping into the energy of what would my day-to-day life look like, and this is what it would do, and this is what it would be like. And I'm looking at these apartments and I'm like, oh my God, I could have one hell of a dinner party in this living room. And just like energy shifting and excitement coming into my body and starting to feel lit up. And then my being and my everything is like, oh my God, yeah. And the reason why I told you all of the stories for like the first 30 minutes to maybe an hour of this episode is because my desire was always to move back to New York when I left college in 2019. Even though I don't agree with all of my younger self's choices and decisions, I respect them because they got me here. We're in a good place. A lot of times I look back on my past self and I go, girl, you know everything. I know nothing. I am just coming back into the memory and the recognition of what you always knew to be true. I always had that desire. Now, did I have that desire for the neighborhood and different things like that? No. But I did have that desire. It was a small whisper inside of me when I left college that was like, what if I moved back to New York and I had a great apartment and I was like an influencer, a YouTuber. I don't think influencer was a popular word back in 2019. I'm like a YouTuber and like everything is just going to be great. But then I was overcome by my fears and my unsupportive thoughts. I did not have the tools that I needed to reach any kind of goals. And so I didn't. I failed, but I learned a lot. And I got better and I developed skills. And then I started winning. I'm currently in my winning season. Amen? Amen. Currently having an experience where even when it feels and looks or appears that I'm failing, I'm still fucking winning. Yes. I'm doing good. And it's getting better every day. Hallelujah. So, okay. I had so many moments of stagnancy, so many moments of wanting something but not getting what I wanted, desiring something, wanting to have a particular experience, but those things falling through because I didn't really want it, you know? They were just nice ideas. It would have been cool to live in Tennessee. Tennessee is beautiful. It would have been nice to stay in Georgia. Georgia was fabulous. Georgia is beautiful. I didn't even explore a fraction of Atlanta. So many hot men there. So many sexy black men in Atlanta. Let's just take a moment of silence. Let's just take a moment of silence for the men of the South. Thank you, God. Okay, focus. They were nice. They were great. But they weren't everything that I wanted. It wasn't me owning my desires. And so much of me not receiving my goals and me being unhappy and me being dissatisfied has come from the fact that I wasn't owning my shit. I wasn't owning who I am. I wasn't owning what I desire. I wasn't owning how I want to live. I wasn't owning the kinds of experiences that I want to have. And this is the problem when you have limitations that you have not moved through. I was afraid of saying the kind of lifestyle that I really wanted to live because I was telling the story and everybody else was telling me the story. You have to work your way up to that, and it has to take a long time for that. And you should really focus on $5,000 months, and then $10,000 months, and then $15,000 months, and then $20,000 months, and then $25,000 months, and then $30,000 months. Like, you know what I'm saying? You should really focus on doing it like this. You should really focus on this and this and this. You should just put off your desires and blah, blah, blah. But that's not how things work for me. That's not how I work. That's not what I am. What naturally came out of me in my business, in my life, in my money. I'm not saying that I recommend this specifically or that this should be what it looks like for you. This is just my life as an example. I focused on raising my price. Successfully raising my price, believing in my value. And now my focus is on not just believing I can sell at a higher rate, not just believing that my work is worthy of making larger amounts of money, thousands of dollars, but stepping into and expanding into, okay, and there's dozens and hundreds and thousands of women all over the world who want my amazing work. And so even though there's been a lot of work happening underground, so much growth has been happening within me and my business, well, within my mindset, it didn't always reflect that in my income. It didn't always reflect that in how much money I had made because my focus wasn't on volume. My focus was on increasing the amount of money that I could allow myself to receive, that I was willing to charge, that I could successfully charge, right? I'm talking about getting sales, not just changing a number. I've changed numbers all of the time, but successfully receiving the money that I'm asking for. So now from this place of receiving the money that I'm asking for, it's about growing and expanding and allowing it to be larger. And I had to deal with those unsupportive thoughts, especially like at the end of last year. I had so many fears. What if so many women come in and they're not getting it, and they're having problems, and they're sending emails and I can't handle the emails? I was fucking terrified of not being able to handle customer service. I know where the fears come from and I'm not going to judge myself, but I was so fucking terrified. Easy answer, you get an assistant. Easy answer, you have a website that supports you. When there are issues, you handle them, you fix them. You make a mistake, you fix it, you make it better. Things are easeful. Now I'm having an experience where dozens and hundreds of sales are coming in and I'm handling it. Now I'm having an experience where dozens and hundreds of sales are coming in from women all over the world. A majority of the women who are buying from me, I'm not having a one-on-one conversation with them. I don't know them. I can recognize a couple of their names. I know where they live, like not in a creepy way, but just, sometimes people pay you and the checkout, you see like the country, the state they live, whatever. I haven't memorized any addresses or anything like that. I have women all over the world. France, Germany, Italy, Canada, China, Australia, Ireland. Did I say London already? England. There are women all over the world who are buying from me, but I'm not having a personal conversation with them. That freaked me out, terrified me years ago. Because I was terrified that, well, they just bought from me, but what if they're unhappy? What if they don't like it? What if? I don't have those thoughts anymore because I have confidence in myself and I have confidence in my value, confidence in the value that I bring, confidence in my products, my offers, my services, right? So what's the point? The point is I have been putting myself in a position to not only increase the volume of sales that I'm experiencing in my business, but also to increase the amount of the transactions that are coming into my business. Number of sales going up? Yes. Number of profit going up? Yes. That journey does not look like anything that I have. My journey does not look like anything that any business or marketing teacher or whatever ever told me at all. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way. I'm saying it's my way and I like it. So I was having so many moments of stagnancy around my income because I was telling the story. My income can't grow that drastically. My income can't increase that drastically. It's actually a lie. It totally can, and anybody's can. It actually totally and 110% completely can. My website could get 500 sales of the Receiver's Mindset course this month, and I would be okay. That's not my goal. That's not what I'm focusing on. But I'm saying I would be okay. It probably would shake my nervous system a little bit. I have not tapped into that energy, but I would be okay. Because I can hire people to help me with customer service if that's a need. It's really easy to navigate my website. Because I know how to manage money, because I know where my money needs to go and for what, because I know what my debts are, because I know what needs to be paid off, because I know how to pay my taxes, because I know how to take care of myself. I have the shit that I need mentally and emotionally and energetically to handle an increase in sales and an increase in my income. All of that has happened as a consequence of my energy. And all along the way, of course, my actual sales and my income have been increasing to take care of me and take care of my bills and all of that stuff. So for the first couple of years, I was focused on survival. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to create a business that was taking care of the expenses. Now my next level is growing and expanding and creating a business where there's financial excess, there's overflow, and I get to live the lifestyle of my desire. And so the second that I realized, oh, I want to live in an apartment in an area that is more expensive, this is the kind of place that I want to live. This is the location of where I want to live. These are the things that I want to do. Shit started opening up for me. Not just finding apartments that I love, but ideas of work that I want to do, work that I want to do in the city, business deals that I want to make, different things that I want to do, work that I want to do with corporations, work that I want to do with other YouTube channels that I'm building, content that I want to create, different influencer events and things like that I'd like to be invited to, that I'd like to participate in, people that I'd like to network with, people that I'd like to serve, events that I'd like to host, and all of this stuff. Like the dots just start connecting. And there's an experience where you're like, oh my God, this is so aligned with me. This is exactly where I want to go. This is exactly where I want to be. This is my next right step. And when you have that next right step, you're releasing that stagnancy, not just when things are moving in the physical, but when those ideas are flowing of this is what I want to do. This is where I want to live. This is what I want to create. This is how I want to give. This is how I want to serve. These are the kinds of activities. These are the events that I want to host in my apartment. These are the people that I want to host in my apartment. This is how I want to use my rooms. This is what I want to film. This is what I want to do in my day-to-day life. These are the kinds of classes and skills I want to take and lessons I want to learn and blah, 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 blah. Shit just starts connecting so beautifully and so powerfully because you're back in alignment with yourself on a soul level. And that's the conversation. When you're feeling stagnant, when you're feeling like nothing is happening, when you're feeling like there's no movement, when you're feeling like, I'm a plastic bag, I could go wherever the wind is taking me. When you're not feeling that conviction, when you're not feeling that desire, when you don't have something that you feel like you're going to die without, when you don't have that strong desire, you're not connected to yourself on a soul level. You're not connected to your inner being. Because your inner being, your higher self, your soul is intentional. You didn't come here to just blow wherever the wind takes you. You didn't come here to make other people happy and do what they want and live your life according to their rules. That's not what you came here for. You came here with intention. You came here with desire. Your physical fucking existence, your body is a product of desire. I'm not talking about your parents' sexual relations. Oh my God, ew. I'm talking about your inner being, your soul said, I want to experience life on earth. I want to go there. Your soul had an idea. Your soul had a plan. Your soul had a desire. Who they want to be, what they want to experience, where they want to go, who they want to fall in love with, who they want to make love with, who they want to create in terms of human beings, what they want to create in terms of projects, in terms of art, in terms of creative self-expression, in terms of wealth, happiness, joy, legacy. Your soul is intentional as fuck. And when you're feeling that energy of being excited, when you're feeling that energy of, I want to go now, I want to move forward now, I want to make some shit happen now, when things are lining up and stacking up and falling in place like fucking dominoes, that's you being in alignment with yourself on a soul level. Your soul is your north node. Your soul is what remembers exactly who you wanted to be before you were born. Exactly what you wanted to walk out. Exactly what you wanted to experience. And when you are living in alignment with your soul, you have moments like that, moments of synchronicity, moments of things falling into place, moments of shit just shifting and clicking and working. And it's easeful. So how do you do this? How do you get into this energy? God, that's a whole other podcast episode. What I will say is meditation, just meditation. 15 minutes, put on singing bowls, chakra chants, healing frequencies, rain sounds, ocean sounds, whatever. Put some shit in your ears. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, focusing on your breath for 15 minutes. Different thoughts come into your mind. Redirect your thoughts. Not right now. Love you, forgive you. We're focusing on the breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. That's a great one. Another great one is learning to feel your feelings. When you're feeling that stagnancy, you're feeling numb, you're not allowing yourself to honor what you truly want, what you truly desire. I have a meditation inside of the free resource library. It's called Feeling Your Feelings Meditation. So check that out. The link to the free resource library is always in the description box. So get that, do that meditation, practice, keep showing up for yourself, and your next step will be made clear. And speaking of that, inside of the Receiver's Mindset course, which is now back open for enrollment, I'm so happy and I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so happy and I'm so fucking excited, you guys. I am so excited for the next round of Receiver's Mindset students to get into this program. One of my students, Olivia, who just joined the Receiver's Mindset back in November when I had the last open enrollment period for the program, she joined and she just moved to Mexico. She wanted to move to Mexico, so she used the course to move to Mexico from the United States. So I love that so much. I still have to update her testimonial and get some questions for her, but it'll be up on the landing page at some point. So, anyway, I'm incredibly excited for you to get your hands on this transformative fucking program. Inside of the receiver's mindset, you've got the pre-work program, which is sorry not settling, and inside of that program it's like nearly 6 hours of trainings. It's 3 videos, they're like 2 hours each. Oh my god, I was so lit on fire when we did sorry not settling. And inside of the sorry not settling training, you're actually getting clear on everything. You're taking stock of everything in your life, what's working for you, what places you feel dissatisfied, what you actually want instead. And then as you work through the pre-work, you're getting clear on, okay, what is my next right step? What do I want to focus on? What is my goal? So that's one thing that you're getting from the sorry not settling pre-work. And then of course you're also getting me talking and riffing, and there's a million objectives that are all listed on the landing page. So you just have to click it and you have to read, because it's incredibly long and I've already been talking way too long, so we can't get into it. So inside of the program, there's the pre-work, which is sorry not settling. There's 3 main modules. That's not 3 main videos. That's 3 main modules that have trainings and videos inside of them. And then lastly, there's 2 bonus trainings. This program is impactful. There are so many things that I love. I just went back into this program to do some work around being a preference and belonging, which is something that we all have to tap into, especially those of us who do not fit the Western beauty standard. We can feel unworthy of our desires because of how we look, because of how our bodies are built. Maybe we feel unattractive or unlovable. So I was going back into the program and doing some of that work around we don't have time to talk about it. We don't have time. We don't have time. We don't have time for the memories. The point is, the program is amazing. What is your self-worth? Self-worth is when I know that I am an important, significant woman who matters and belongs. Being a preference, allowing yourself to be the preference, allowing yourself to be the woman that they choose, be the woman that they want to pay, be the woman that they want to love, be the woman that they want to learn from. That's all about you being the preference. And so there's beautiful journal prompts and exercises to help you shift into the energy and build out that belief system and expectation of being the preference, so you can experience that every single day in your life. I say all of the time, there are people in the world that are not attracted to fat women. There are people in the world who do not consider me to be the gold standard of beauty, but I wouldn't know that because I don't interact with them. I do not attract them into my world. You know what I'm saying? So the receiver's mindset is about creating a life where you're being taken care of, whether it's in your money, it's in your career, it's in your romantic life. The receiver's mindset course is literally me teaching you how to develop the mindset of the receiver. It's everything that I have learned over the past 6 years in business. It's the mindset shifts that have taken me from selling the course originally for $7 to now selling the course for $2,000, right? It's the mindset shifts that have taken me from I can only post videos on what people like, it doesn't matter what I want, to now me exclusively posting the content that I like, that I desire, that I feel called to share. And I make more money and get more sales with more ease and less one-on-one conversation than ever before. How to Receive is the course where I break it all down for you incredibly plainly. You guys know that I love to teach. You guys know that I love to give a definition. And these trainings are impeccable. Truly, truly impeccable. So if you feel called to tap into the How to Receive course, you can click the link in the show notes or the description box, and you can learn more and you can read my different client and student testimonials. And if you feel called to enroll in the program, I'd love to have you. The last thing that I want to say is that since I just opened up the program now, I do have a bonus for you guys. So if you enroll in the program by Friday, May 16th, then you will get 5 one-on-one sessions with me as a bonus, which will only skyrocket your transformation, of course. So I highly suggest that you check out the program, enroll if you would like to, and enroll ASAP so you can get those personal one-on-one sessions with me. My sessions are amazing. My work is amazing. You know this. You've listened to the entire podcast. I don't have to talk anymore. Okay, I love you, and I will talk to you again next week.